All right, y'all. Welcome back to Collision. This is our pre-recorded series. We got a partner in crime.
You already know who it is.
You know what I'm saying?
It's your boy Lou.
You know
What's happening?
Bro, who are you? Always.
The young.
It's been a week since Kansas City has won the Super Bowl. We're going to go back into the Super Bowl recap. Super Bowl 54, Chiefs versus the 49ers. Chiefs was obviously victorious, 31-20. Just want to get you guys' reactions. It's been a week since you guys watched it. You saw the parade. You saw Andy Reid saying that they're going to go back-to-back. And Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce living their best life. So what y'all think? What was one of the biggest takeaways that you had from the game, since now you had a week to digest what happened?
Pretty much the biggest takeaway was, we'll be back next year, definitely. The defense is young, they're good, they're fast, they're aggressive, they like to tackle, they're not scared. Spag seems to have created like a good defensive scheme. It's an easier scheme. They don't really have to do too much. They just need to go out there and play and be themselves. So, and that showed up definitely late in the fourth quarter when everybody had pretty much given up on them. That defense gave us two good crucial stops.
Got the ball right back.
Got the ball back quick. Pat takes it down, scores 2 or 3 times actually, twice. Then Damian Williams seals the deal at the very end of the game. So, that's just my biggest takeaway, is that it definitely was a team effort. It wasn't a thing that
Pat just won the game.
Right, Pat didn't. Because through 3 quarters, frankly, he was getting outplayed by Jimmy Garoppolo. But I want to say that's because Shanahan had a decent scheme going for the 49ers offense. Really, I want to also say is that it looked like the Chiefs defense was expecting more of a rushing attack than actually, than they did. Yeah. So a lot of things were open because, guys are looking for Mostert. They're looking for Coleman. They're looking for guys. They're looking for the run. They're looking for the run, and then they go off and pass. So So Garoppolo, he was able to dot off. I want to say what. It was like through second or third quarter, he was like pretty much perfect.
Yeah, like one thing. Yeah,
that and we talked about it like a little bit beforehand on who would have to be the X factor in winning. And at that point, I told you it had to be Jimmy Garoppolo. If he played well, the 49ers had a chance to win. He was playing well, and they definitely had a chance to win. But you already know the boogeyman. You can't keep him away for long.
The thing with the craziest part is that, as you said, he had the one where he Chris Jones and I'm forgetting 64. Mike Pennell. They got him on the near sack, and he threw a close-eyed interception. After that, he was pretty much perfect. He was like 17 of 18 up until that point. But yeah, as you said, Tyrann Mathieu even said it. I think that the first drive kind of got the Chiefs on edge. They was very creative, and as you said, Eric Dickerson, one of the best running backs of all time, even said it, like running the ball is an art. So one of the things is that they wasn't like Tennessee or even the Houston Texans. They were it's like, it's power, toss right. They was doing counters, traps, but the thing that helped them is the fact is that they had the attitude. Frank Clark, as much as people say that he talks a little bit too much, but he had the attitude, and even if you have to finesse it, everybody plays sports. Sometimes I'm gonna write a check that I can't cash, but my defense got to do it. And the fact is that Tyrann Mathieu was sitting there everywhere. I think he played box safety, played free safety. I don't think he played any corner really, but the fact that the 49ers even went away from the running game when they had a 2-point lead surprised me. It's like they didn't realize who they were actually playing. But I think that second interception set them up for failure. I think they honestly thought that Pat was rattled, and maybe he was. But that third and 15, that third and 15.
That's what I'm saying. Like that third and 15 that showed you exactly. Because, and that's another thing that I kind of want to talk about.
You literally said that. You was like, third and you said, if they get sacked or they get a false start and it's second and 20, third and 20, that don't mean
that. It really means nothing because you got a guy that can make that play. Patrick, and, he's the one that called that play. That's another takeaway. The turning point of the game I hope NFL don't copyright us for that. But like the point in which the game turned was definitely that 3rd and 15 call, and Pat was the one that called it. He's the one that went up to Eric Bieniemy and said, "Let's run what is now become known as WASP, which is pretty much Tyreek just going on the deep route and hitting going on the route, right, deep corner, and everybody else kind of runs in the middle." And he's asking if he had time. And then, sure enough, on 3rd and 15, he hikes the ball and he takes a 14-yard drop. He takes a longer drop, and he launches it for another 30.
Bro. That's what.
On 3rd and 15, he takes a 14-yard drop. Not only that,
I think 11 step drop.
That's what I'm saying. So he already got to throw 30 yards pretty much for the first down, and he threw. He threw a 6. That was like what a 6. No, it couldn't have been.
He
60.
threw 50.
That's pretty close.
He threw a 50 because it was like a 45-yard completion. The fact is that, bro, and I think you watched it. Nick Bosa was literally Eric Fisher. Listen, they gonna say Nick Bosa beat him for most of the game, but on that particular play, he held him forever. And the fact is that Bosa was on him, and the fact that Pat literally was able to have the arm strength and the composure to fit it right in there, because everybody's saying, if he throws it a little deeper, Tyreek scores, but that safety was coming, so obviously they saw it the last second.
Dropped it in the right place.
Bro, he dropped it in the bucket.
He threw it where he knew. He threw it where he knew Tyreek was going to be, and that's the thing about most quarterbacks. I say it all the time about Pat. I feel like every time we talk about Pat, I say this. Most quarterbacks can't do that. Most quarterbacks can't just take that type of a drop back, just launch it up in the air and throw it where his man is supposed to be, and it hits him right there in time and stride. Well, it didn't really hit him in time.
I think there's only 2 quarterbacks, maybe 3, and I think that if they had the opportunity, because you have to have the mobility and the arm strength to do it. Like Drew Brees, he's accurate enough to do that, but is he going to be mobile enough to take an 11-step drop to the left and then launch it that way? I think maybe Deshaun, and I don't know if his arms are probably not as good as Pat, and maybe Russell, because Russell has a good deep ball, but those might be the only ones. And the fact that Pat was able to, basically have the worst game of his career up until 10 minutes left, but the unsung hero though, that running back, what did I say?
Damien Williams.
And now here's the thing, everybody said that he should have won MVP. The only reason why I said that he could have had a stake for it, he balled from the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. Pat, it took him a little bit. He's
still clutch though.
He was clutch.
It took Pat
5-5.
Yeah,
He was too clutch. Then he extended plays running, getting the first down.
But like when I'm talking about, they had a couple third. Think about it, right? And the plays, okay. Well, now they call it Rose Bowl. They call it Rose Bowl twirl.
Yeah, Rose Bowl.
If he gets stuffed on that, right? Pat doesn't able to get the 1 yard touchdown. That's 7 points subtracted. Then they did the speed option, which I think we talked about. It was a second quarter. They did a speed option where they checked it. You put him on his offset side, and then they did speed option, and he just basically sprinted to the right, got the first down. If he gets stopped, because I think Kewan Alexander or Crenshaw was on him. If he gets stopped, that's 10 more points. Basically,
you talking about the play when he almost looked like he got hurt?
No. I'm talking about the one that was like literally a speed option. It was Damien Williams gets the first down. They don't get the touchdown because I think Pat overthrew it. I don't know if it was on Damien Williams or Pat. But basically, they don't get those. If Damien Williams don't make those plays, who knows what that game could have been? You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that it was a team effort, as you said. Frank Clark he even got a sack at the end of the game, and basically closed out the 49ers. I mean, as I said though, like we sitting there nitpicking, but more after the game though. So they had the
49ers got some good ads. Boy, they got some good defense.
49ers will be back. It just depends on who they get. Like if they get like a Derrick Henry or something, we're gonna have probably they gonna think they gonna be back.
I mean, but
they got Jared McKinnon coming back. I mean, and he was supposed to be their guy. So they got Tevin Coleman, and they got Mostert, who could be literally a plug-in guy. Who never knows. But like the 49ers will be back. It's just that I just think, as you said though, like when you got the best player in the game and the Chiefs have that, plus you get a team effort, they can win. That's why I said they think they can be back here, because it's like Andy Reid's like, oh yeah, we can be back.
So what do the Chiefs need?
what do the Chiefs need? They obviously need to get Juan Thornhill back. They need to get him back.
Juan Thornhill coming back will help a lot.
They need to probably move out for Anthony. I don't know.
I would say
offensive line. Probably the Wiley.
I would say offensive line.
Wiley.
He don't. It was Wisniewski. But I mean, our offensive line is good, but I feel like we need better offensive line because I mean, at least it's tough. I say that, but it's tough to say that game. Let's just say the Niners defense was so good, it made that Chiefs offensive line look bad.
The only one that
line really hasn't been bad all season.
Bro. The only person that probably won their matchups every single play was Schwartz. Like, so it didn't matter. Yeah. Armstead, Buckner, D Ford. He's like, hey, come on. You know what I'm saying? Buckner was getting them with a couple speed, one arm, stiff arm. So, but one player like they need to look into is, as you said, they probably need to move off the Anthony Hitchens contract. And then seeing if they can get Chris Jones. Chris Jones says he wants to stay, but let's see if he wants to stay money because, as you said, like he can command.
We need better linebackers, if anything, on that defense. We do need to get Chris Jones back, and
at least for another year.
He's gonna command a decent amount of cash, but I mean, like the thing about it is, you talking about giving up Hitchens. And you already know, I already said like who I want in the draft, which we probably won't get.
Kenneth Murray at 32.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
and in my opinion, that's the last piece. You need a rangy linebacker who's not afraid to hit, who can get up there. You know, he's downhill backer, but he can also go sideline to sideline. I feel like that's Kenneth Murray. And I mean, I need to check the mock.
Let's say Chiefs need. There's a Chiefs need. I think a lot of it's a receiver heavy draft. A lot of teams in the first 20 need a lot of skill positions. CD Lamb, Jefferson out of LSU. So like a lot of players will be picked up that the Chiefs necessarily don't need. But as you said though, linebacker help, offensive line help, and then possibly, I mean, it might be idiot, you know, kind of not the popular thing to say, running back, if they really want to look into that. No. As I said, but I don't think they'll draft
Stick with Damian Williams, or I like your idea when you talking about bringing up Kamara.
Kamara's going to be on the holdout. What if you the Chiefs? Hey, we'll give you a second, and we'll give you X player. Like, what if you give up Sammy? What if you give up Sammy Watkins? Sammy Watkins doesn't know if he wants to play, but say if he doesn't want to take that reduced rate, he goes to the Saints, and you get Kamara. They could get Kareem Hunt back. Kareem Hunt is on shaky waters right now with the Browns, so we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, with that. But the whole reason you got rid of Kareem Hunt was because he didn't know how to. Yeah, he didn't know how to act. So I don't know. I want to believe that the door is open for Kareem to come back, but I feel like I know the truth, which is, like I told you the other day, the only way he really comes back to Kansas City is with stipulations like they did to Tyreek, where you want to come here, you got to be here. You gonna have
the
a chaperone,
right? The Dez Bryant treatment,
like all that.
What about Dez though? What do you think, Dez?
I think Dez could come.
You think that, like, because if Sammy says, "Hey, I'm not taking a pay cut," and you cut Sammy, right? What if you put Dez at that position? Do you think that will? Because he definitely don't have the speed that Sammy does, but does that create a different type of offense? Do you think that would affect everything?
He's got the hands that I say most, if not all, of our receivers don't have.
Yeah, the strongest hands. You think?
That's my opinion on that. Other than Travis, but even Travis dropped. We saw it through the playoffs. People were dropping passes in game where if you don't have Pat, or let's say Pat is hurt, and you got Matt Moore in there, and Matt Moore, we saw he's serviceable. He can get the ball to you. But in a critical playoff game, let's say Pat has to sit out, and you need to pick up these drives, you need to pick up these yards. I'm not confident. I mean, I know we got talented receivers. I'm not confident in their hands. Dez got the hands. He ain't gonna burn nobody. You know, he might not route. Right. He might not route somebody up. But if you give him the ball, get him the ball while he's open, while everybody's looking at Tyreek or Travis Kelce or whoever, or Sammy, whoever else it might be, or DeMarcus, or whoever you want to talk about, and Dez is out there wide open, you know that's going to be a catch because he's got those hands. So I feel like that's what you're looking for when you're talking about Dez Bryant is a dependable pass catcher.
You was talking about linebackers. I just thought of one about Sean Lee. If you call it,
I'm good on Sean Lee.
You good on Sean Lee?
Just like, frankly, I was good on Anthony Hitchens. It was just Anthony Hitchens came into a good situation. Pretty much all them backers from Dallas, I don't know, man. Sean Lee, he's good. I mean, maybe even great, but Like I said, I'm good. I'm good on Sean Lee. Give me somebody young. Give me somebody fresh. Somebody who's.
You thought Darren Lee would have been that guy, but he was pretty much you had Damian Wilson, Reggie Ragland. They had Reggie Ragland out there a little bit more than they had Darren Lee.
But see, so how old is Darren Lee? How long he been?
Darren Lee been in the league for about 4 years. See, he hasn't even reached his fifth year yet.
So I mean, you can have some gas with him. True, I'll give you that.
But now linebacker, no, we gotta do the mock because I know Kenneth Murray is a linebacker. I saw. There's a lot of pass rushers though, but we'll end up seeing.
Young. Man, yeah, I'm just
a lot of pass rushers, a lot of receivers. There's gonna be a receiver and pass rusher.
I haven't seen Kenneth Murray's name yet in most of these draft or these mocks that I've looked. There you go, right there. No, that's Xavier McKinney. My bad. Wow.
So if he falls at 32, there's your linebacker right there.
That would be a miracle. That would be an absolute miracle if Kenneth Murray is still there at 32.
Quentin, listen, I know that football might not be a specialty, but what's a player that you saw in like NBA circles back in the day where like they failed to a certain team and you were just like, how did that happen? Like when you remember the last one, I thought it was Klay Thompson back in 2011 when he fell at 11 to Golden State, and I'm sitting there looking like, bro got the best shot in the league, like the whole thing, like
I would say probably Devontae Graham.
Devontae Graham was a second-round pick, though. And then, he was in the D-League. I'm talking about, he fell like that.
But he out here firing up these three-pointers,
he's a 20-point a game scorer now. Easy.
I always liked Devontae Graham. I
never did get why I thought he was always better than, what's the guy? He came out the year, Frank Mason. I thought he was a little bit better than Mason. I thought that Mason was...
He was definitely better than Frank Mason.
I mean, that's what I said. But Devontae Graham, I just thought that he was definitely the second fiddle. But it's always crazy how that second guy... But I know a team that you like, Dallas, Luka. Luka fell to 3 or 4. Yeah. That's what the craziest part was.
Which made him still available. But I mean, shoot, who knows? There's probably teams in the background talking about it and like, oh, you don't get this person, I get this person. So you think he failed, but they already know. Like Dallas wanted them.
That part is true. You're right about that. A lot of times that's the crazy thing about drafts, period, is that okay, for Pat, let's talk about Pat. Pat knew he was going to the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. It was just a matter of when. He had already known. He didn't know that he was going to be the second or third quarterback pick that draft, but he knew he was going to
so crazy. They said that after he was picked, I know I follow Pittsburgh a lot. They if he failed to pass 15 because they had the 23rd, 26th, or 27th pick, they would have traded up to get him.
Niners said they was going to get him too.
Niners picked up Solomon. They picked up Solomon.
They didn't think Pat was going to go on the top
second round pick or something like that.
Huh? So I don't know. Kyle Shanahan.
What was Mahomes' pick?
He's picked 10.
Yeah, 10.
They traded up. So basically,
first round?
Yep.
Yeah, he got picked one pick before Deshaun.
10 overall.
And honestly, if we get 50-50 hindsight, people was like, why'd you pick? Because Pat wasn't the winner in college, but at the same time, and as I said, it's always crazy. The best quarterbacks in the league, I think
they don't look at that's. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you good. It's always crazy. You always think about it Deshaun is going to be Deshaun's already a star. Mitch Trubisky, that looks like the jury's out on him. But honestly, right,
people talking about Pat don't win the big games or whatever it was, so that's college. Why he wasn't. But that's what I'm saying. So that's why he wasn't worth that top pick. But people were picking Mitchell Trubisky over him. That's the part I still do not get. I don't.
Wait. Here's the thing. Mitchell Trubisky played 1 year, so he played 12, 13 games right in the season. Right. Pat played 2 years. Did he win a lot? No, he did not. He was 7-6.
But he had the straight talent, though. That's the thing about it. He might not have won, but that was not his fault.
Bro, you looked at it if you put Pat and Mitchell Trubisky next to each other, we would sit there looking
look at their highlights, man. Period, man.
When I first seen Patrick play, I was just like, this dude cold.
But that's what I'm saying, because he does stuff.
What are you talking about,
bruh?
Yeah.
Because he when I was watching him, I was like, bruh, there's quarterbacks in the league that can't do that, and they can't do that.
The play, what's the play? I tell you,
they can't throw a 60-yard bomb on the run off the back foot. They can't, you know what I'm saying? They can't look off receivers or look off or no look pass to receivers.
What's the play I told you about before the draft? The one where he spun to his left and he threw it against his body and landed in the back of the end zone. And the corners were like, well, I didn't think you can make that throw. So that's why I didn't run with him. So it's crazy. And Patrick got you know what's so even crazier though? What? Pat has literally exceeded all expectations, and he's literally the guy right now. Like he has to this is the first time in the league where it's like these quarterbacks actually have to hold it, because think about it. What if by miracle, what if Deshaun Watson and them overthrow the Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens and he wins Super Bowl? Everybody loves Deshaun. Lamar Jackson was the second unanimous MVP literally the day before the Super Bowl. What if he wins it? What if he wins the Super Bowl with his squad? Like basically in the AFC, it was like, granted, Pat and them have probably the better team, and they have the better, like, I think the Ravens have a good ecosystem too, but I think Pat's a better player. But still, like in the AFC, bro, like it's about who can catch the most chips.
Yeah,
who can catch the most
chips? I
feel
like Ravens need a little bit more work.
They need more work on the outside. Like
Lamar is a dog. He's the unanimous MVP, but he don't scare me. He don't scare me.
Everybody say they don't listen. They say the same about Pat. They was like, "Oh, Pat don't scare you." Granted, it was stupid for them to say. What I'm saying is that we got to see offseason. Like,
Pat is truly the best quarterback you've probably seen. That's what I'm saying. If you know what you're looking at, you know who's talking real, who's talking bull. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to talk about quarterback comparison between Patrick, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Patrick is head, shoulders, and probably waist above everybody else in the league, fam. There's no comparing. You can sit here and think about and debate it all you want, Kenny, but there's no debate.
So I got a question. So I got a question. So say, I always got to play devil's advocate, because let's say if I agree with you, right? So up until 3 quarters, Jimmy G beats him. Like, we need to have this conversation. It didn't happen, but let's be real. He loses to Jimmy G.
But it was their defense.
But I'm saying, but if he loses though, Luke has been telling me that
if Pat loses the Super Bowl, then okay, all right, that's a good hypothetical question. What happens if Patrick Mahomes loses the first Super Bowl he plays in to Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo arguably outplayed him. Okay, so then, truthfully, what you're talking about is he goes from making $220 million to probably $25 million.
You feel? No, I get
that's
that.
What I'm saying. Like,
what I'm saying is,
it don't really change much.
Is it confirmation bias? No.
It would have to be. The problem is that you can't. It don't exist in a vacuum. It's not just going to be, well, Pat just loses to Jimmy Garoppolo and that's it. No, there's going to be reasons why he lost. You're going to either blame Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy for not really having a good game plan, and like I already said, Patrick was the one that called the play to get them actually winning the Super Bowl. Patrick, with all intents and purposes, he was the one that, bruh. You ain't got a diagram of play that say Tyreek go run a long corner. He calls the play. He knows what the play is.
Well, I'm talking about the install, but you already know quarterbacks always have a right. Like they go in before the game, like, hey, what plays do you like? Now that Walsh play, he definitely said, hey, bro, let's call it Walsh, and he was like, well,
let's run this play. Everybody else, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy was sitting there wondering what they was gonna do down 10, early in the fourth quarter. What we gonna do? Patrick was the one that took control of that team and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run this play right here. We're going to score, and then we're going to need the defense to do what they got to do. This team belongs to Patrick Mahomes. Know that. And they all know it, too. That's why they said, we got this one for Andy Reid. We got this one for Kansas City. After that, it's a wrap. They're going to do it for themselves. Patrick got control of the team. So that's just if you look at it. If Patrick loses that game, what you're saying is Patrick is either not as smart of a quarterback as we think he is. His arm talent is not as good as we think it is. And Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy clearly are probably not the offensive masterminds we think they are. It's not just Patrick is lower than Jimmy or Lamar Jackson.
Well, I'm saying is obviously
there's levels to it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is like in the same thing. Like LeBron lost to. I remember when he lost to Dwight Howard. We didn't think Dwight Howard was better than LeBron back all those years ago, but we was like, all right, there's reasons why LeBron lost. What I'm saying is with Pat is, do I think? No, exactly. What I think do I think Pat is better than Lamar and Deshaun? Yes, but what I'm saying is like they have to. And here's the thing though,
he's exponentially better than both of them.
But you know what's so crazy though? When you going against the GOAT, you have to do the things that you are capable of. What are your gifts and because basically Lamar Jackson, he has to probably throw for 3,000 and run for 1,000 yards. If you're Deshaun Watson, he probably has to pull magic out of his hat in order to keep themselves in the games. Pat, Pat literally has to be Pat, and you already know that he's going to be better. But the question is, can he lose a game? Oh yeah, they can lose. Of course, he can lose. He can lose. Like, here's the thing: the only
Pat is like multiple quarterbacks.
That's the thing.
He has no weakness.
Like,
he's too smart, too strong, too fast. Literally.
The question is like, if you put Deshaun and Lamar in the same quarterback, like, he doesn't have the speed of Lamar and doesn't have the quickness.
They can't. If you put Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson on the Chiefs right now, they do not win the Super Bowl. They do not win the Super Bowl. I'll say it like that.
Nah, I don't know about that. I just don't know. Because here's the thing. No, because you know what's so crazy?
Kenny, why you downplaying Pat?
I'm not downplaying him. I say he's the best.
He thinks more of Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson than I do. I'll put it like that. Lamar, bruh.
You know which one's
Lamar Jackson is not clutch.
No. Here's the thing. I didn't deny that. What I'm saying is Lamar. I don't think Lamar would have been in that conversation. There's only 2 quarterbacks I think. Keyword think. And I'm saying we're saying hypotheticals.
All right, who's in the conversation?
There's only 2. The only ones. One team that he practically beat them twice this year, Russ. But granted, Russ ain't gonna be in that situation. And then 2, I think highly of Deshaun. But I know. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that cracks you up about Luke. I think more of Patrick Mahomes. I said Patrick Mahomes is literally better than everybody by far. What I'm saying is, what are your skills?
But you're saying, but the question I just posed is, I'm telling you, I just don't know how. Lamar ain't really got the arm to throw a desperate play like Wash. He's probably gonna try to run it out. But Nick Bosa and DeForest Buckner, all them guys are too fast, and they know how to contain him. Like Tennessee showed you, they know how to contain Lamar. Deshaun Watson is what you probably really with Deshaun. His problem, I don't even really know what his problem is. His problem is maybe Bill O'Brien.
I think that is the
if you put Deshaun on that team, maybe they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. But I don't think Deshaun is that. I just don't think he's not. I don't think he's that good. He's not that good. He's not as good as Patrick is what I'm trying to say. He can't make that throw. He probably won't be able to make that play. Now granted, will he make a play? Will he make a scramble play? Yeah, of course. Pat makes the scramble play too. He was making scramble plays all day on Sunday. But what the X factor was his arm strength and his intelligence of the game. He knew when to throw the ball, where to throw the ball, and exactly how much time he needed to do it.
Yeah.
Lamar can't do that, and Deshaun probably can't do that either.
I think but what you're saying, like, and even as you're saying it, I think you probably think that Deshaun is like, Lamar hasn't shown us that. I know that for a fact. And I think the quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, I don't know if Russell, I just think that he plays so safe. Because a couple of the plays that Pat was getting away from, like there was a couple of plays where he was literally having a high step because guys were grabbing at his ankles. Like a couple of times, Bosa, Armstead, they was literally grabbing it. And granted, if Pat doesn't pick up his legs as he's running, he probably gets tripped for a sack or something. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. But I know